there, it's Melissa and I'm back with the second process video in my Making Lemonade series, which is all about what to do when you lose your creative flow, or as we like to call it in the scrappy world, our scrappy mojo. So this week I'm making a layout that is entirely inspired by embellishments, and once again I'm using my August Hip kit because I want to get it used up, and also because it's got these beautiful crepe paper wonder ephemera, and they go really well with scrapbooking kids. And so I thought, what better way to show them off than rather to layer them up or just feature a couple of them. I wanted to feature as many as I could, so I thought I'd do a couple of banners. And so I've got this really old freckled fawn twine, and it's kind of ombre, and it's an orangey red, yellowy kind of colour, so it goes really, really well with the colours on the ephemera and also with my photos. And I knew that I wanted to do a multi-photo layout. I seem to be on a real kick of doing that lately, and it's certainly a good way to get photos that go together scrapped on one page. And so I'm also using some Pink Fresh Studio acetate triangles. As you can see, that's one there. And so all I'm doing is I've punched with my crocodile holes in anything that doesn't have any holes, and then I've stapled the end and tied a knot just to make sure it stays secure, and you would have seen that I've put 2 staples in. And so what's really unique about this layout is the only piece of pattern paper in the whole layout is the background piece. And so here I'm just punching my holes in my photo, and really it's all about threading the photos and ephemera onto the twine. And so when it came to my photos, I don't want the twine to take over, I want it to go behind the photos. So as you'll see, it's kind of like over, under, and out the second hole, and then over again. So just to quickly explain, I did glue that heart down. Now I wouldn't recommend doing that, I really should have just used a staple, and as you'll see later on I will come back in with my stapler and staple it down, and you can see the tombow showing through. It dries clear, but it kind of bothered me a bit, so anyway, that's the good old perfectionist shining out of me again. So now I'm moving on to my second photo, and you'll see that when you're doing a banner like this, it's all about positioning the elements, and you'll see that I'm not too happy with how I position that ampersand, and I'll come back in later and take it all apart to that point and fix it up. So I was really just working on the top, I guess, banner to start with, and here, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I didn't want that piece to sit over the top of the ampersand, and I haven't realised it yet, but I will soon. Now the best thing is, because nothing is glued down at this point, it's just easy just to unthread and fix up what I'm doing. So here I'm just about to realise what's happened, and you really do want to get it right before you commit to gluing them down, because once they're glued or adhered, then excuse me, it's pretty much stuck. So I can see my brain, well I can't, but anyway, my brain is thinking about it. In the meantime, another piece of advice I'd give is to adhere things. If you're happy with the position, like that photo is great, I like it, so I've just put a couple of pop dots underneath it. And one thing I didn't want with this layout was all the bits to sit completely flush to the paper. I wanted some movement. So here I've unthreaded because I'm not happy with the placement, and it's all to do with the way in which whether you put the string up through the hole or down through the hole. And so in this instance, I wanted it to go down through that little tag, and it says hello, and then I want the ampersand to sit under it. Now, I was also wanting to make sure that I got that layered exactly where I wanted it over the photo, and that, once again, I'm using a tiny little pop dot for that, and same with that little tag there as well. I'm happy with the position, I want it to sit over that triangle, so I'm going to commit to sticking it down. So now it's back to the ampersand, and okay, I've come up and through the hole, and then once again I don't want the twine to go across my photo, I want it to go under, so you can see how I've done that there. And so yes, it is a bit of fussing, but I believe that the end result is worth it, and you do want to be happy with the layouts that you make. I don't want to go and get these photos reprinted or waste any ephemera or ruin anything, so it is worth the time. And then I'm happy with the way that that photo is sitting as well, and now I'm just coming in and stapling down that piece of twine, and I'm really happy with how that's looking as well, and I'm just putting a knot in the end to secure it. So now it's just a case of fiddling around. Once things are in their position, like I said, sticking them down, and I'm wanting overlapping. I'm not really wanting any major gaps there. I did think about doing something to the background paper. It's a grid, and I'm really loving grids and patterns at the moment for backgrounds, as you may have noticed. And I did consider doing the packaging technique with some mist, but because I've only got the one piece of this paper left in full sheet, I just decided no, I'll go with just the plain grid. And because this is quite busy in terms of patterns and bits and pieces, I'm happy in the end with how it turns out. So I loved that this ephemera pack had a bee in it on that tag, B for Brielle, that's her name, as many of you probably know. So of course I had to get that on this piece, on this layout, excuse me. And so there I'm just adhering the end again and tying the knot. Now these photos are actually her genuinely upside down. She's really funny when she eats. When she comes to the end of her meal, she kind of goes upside down with her head and plays up for me. So I grabbed my camera one day and took some photos, and these photos, I just love them together. They're so cute, and they just really reflect her personality at the moment. So here I am threading this one again, and that little cat says meow. She loves our cat, so I thought that was perfect for this one as well. And at the top of that cat has a little, it's printed on a little bow, so I wanted to make sure that could still be seen, so I've just used my crocodile and punched a hole below it. Once again, I'm wanting to make sure that I get that little cat in the position that I want, and so I've used a tiny little pop dot, and it's just a case of doing exactly what I did with the top banner, punching holes and then positioning bits and pieces. And I love the addition that these little acetate triangles add. They're a little bit different, and they provide different height, and because they're clear as well, I really like that. So I've punched a hole in that. That is so beautiful, that little piece of ephemera. It says Wild at Heart, and it had fake staples on it, but I've used my staple and stapler and stapled over the top of the fake staples, and I'm loving that. And then just the same thing again, really, making sure I'm happy with where things are placed and then adhering them down. So this heart is really, really cute, and you can see there, it's just not going to work the way I've positioned it. So if I change the I guess orientation, or whether I go through the top or up through the bottom, in this instance I've gone from the top and down through the hole, that completely enables me to position that heart at a different angle. So now the fun part, and that's embellishing. And I've just added the sequins, and I've added that other felt heart at the bottom, which I've stapled on. You've actually missed me put the title and the journaling down because my card on my camera was full, so I really do apologise about that. I have found my card that's been missing for months. I found it in the couch tonight while I was looking for the Apple TV remote, so that's always a bonus. Hooray. And I'm adding some colour shine. I've used gold and then a pink and then a darker pink, because I just can't not put the colour shine on. And you would have seen there I put that little caption in, I thought I was done. So I actually left the layout, left it for a day or so, looked at it and thought, no, it's not enough going on for me, for my style. So I've come in and now I'm just adding as much more embellishment as I can handle. So another thing you didn't see me do, I did off camera, was I wanted to leave the branding strip at the other side of the branding strip at the bottom, so I've cut the equivalent off the top to make it 12 inches. And I've added that little fox at the top and a little Pink Fresh Studio heart wood veneer next to it, and I love it. And that's a Dear Lizzie chipboard, and I've just added it to the bottom of my photo, and I just need a little pop dot under it just to help provide that dimension, and I've just used my Tombow to glue it down. Did consider using that little heart, but colours didn't quite go. Oh no, I did. What am I saying? I did use it. And of course they go. It goes with the other heart. So yeah, I don't know what I'm thinking here. I've used some puffy stickers, and then I've just used a little square tile with a bee on it for Brielle. And I love using the asterisks on thickers as an embellishment, not as an asterisk. And these stickers have these arrows or chevrons, and they're perfect as well, so I've added some of them. And now it's just a case of deciding what else to add. I'm adding the ampersand on the bottom of that card, and here I'm just looking through the bits and pieces, and I did think about using that other little bee tag, and I put a staple in it, but in the end I couldn't really decide where to put it, and I certainly didn't want it to be next to the other bee. So I'm just going through my bits and pieces, seeing if there's anything else at all that I can add. And some of them, like one said dream, it's not really appropriate for this layout. But I do like that little banner, and once again it's got a couple of fake staples on it. So I'm going to adhere it with a bit of double-sided tape, and then try and staple over the top of the fake staples. And add a little pop dot underneath just to give it a bit of a lift. And I like the way that looks at the top. So at this point I'm nearly done, and I've decided to add a little bit more journaling, and I've just written upside down eating, because in years to come I may wonder what she's doing in this layout. My other journaling said, "You love food so very much, you will try everything I put in front of you," which is great, because my first child, when he got to 18 months, he decided he didn't want to eat much anymore, and it was really stressful and challenging for us. But both my girls have been very good eaters from as soon as I've started solids, really. So I had another look at those chipboard to see if I could add anything else, but that page in particular is full of birthday themed icons, etc. So I'm saving them for Azaria's birthday photos, which I need to get printed. And I'm planning to do that this week, so you'll be able to see those pages coming up. And that's off the Dear Lizzie washi tape roll, and I've just cut that little XOXO, and so now I'm just deciding where to put it, and I like the way it looks down there. It helps tie in the branding strip at the bottom. Having another go at trying to get that bee on, but not much luck there. So thought about using those other little mask animals. They're so cute, but I'll save them for another page. And see that adding that would have been too much, but it was worth having a look anyway to see. And I think I'm nearly there. I did think about using paint dabber and going around the outside, but I decided to use this Picture Raspberry Distress ink, and that came in a hip kit. I think it might have been the March kit. Came with the yellow one as well. And so I had to be quite heavy-handed to get it to show up, but in person you can see it, and I like the finishing that it gives it. Just gives the layout a little bit something extra, and kind of defines, well, literally defines the edges. And I like the way that looks. I think if I hadn't have had the little banner at the top, I probably would have got the ink dabber out. Now, I could have stopped, but oh no, typical Melissa, had to keep going. This is probably my favourite Studio Calico stamp of all time, and it comes on a set. It's really quite old. It's just a plus sign. You would have probably seen me use it before, and I'm just doing the double stamp technique with the same ink that I've gone around the edge. So I stamp it once, and then I do two stamps, and that's how you get the lighter impression, and I'm sure you guys know this. I'm not the bestest stamper in the world, but I'm trying really hard to use up what I've got. So then I thought we'll do a third one and do some gold, and I love it. Yeah, I can't stop. Literally can't, but I'm going to have to soon because it's it, and I have stopped now. So that's my final layout. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for your awesome comments, and welcome to my new subscribers. I'm really enjoying this series and I've got some great ideas, so I'll be back again soon. Have a really awesome weekend.